I've been thinking about something lately when it comes to different types of pedals, guitar pedals, kind of like distortion, timing effects, and, all that kind of stuff. Reminds me back in the day when I was starting to thinking about building my own pedal. So I was kind of like thinking, this is maybe 10 years ago. I was thinking, what if I trying to build my own pedal? Maybe a boost pedal or distortion pedal or something very simple. So I actually uh, bought a little kit with a circuit board in there and some components and all that kind of stuff. And I actually built my very first boost pedal. I think it's maybe 8-9 years ago now. This is actually the first pedal that I ever built. This is a kit in the circuit board is actually a pre-printed circuit board that kind of like a kit that you can buy. Um, so it got a gain control right there, and a volume right there, and just a on-off switch. You got the output and input, and you got the 9-volt connector right there, and a green LED. I chose to call this one the version 1.2. I don't know why, but I just did so. Um, So this pedal doesn't really have a very big amount of gain or something like that. It's just kind of like a boost pedal, I'd say. Yeah, something to put in front of your amplifier. So when I built that one, I actually saw online that the circuit board in this one, the PCB board in this pedal that I'm calling 1.2 could actually be modified just by putting in some more components in there. Well, I think 2 components and some wiring and a little switch. So I actually bought one more of these kits right here. So I could try out I didn't want to modify the 1.2, so I bought one more kit. And that's this one. It has a little switch here. It's a clipping switch. So at the time I didn't know very much about clipping, so I thought it was a cool feature. Actually, it changes the distortion type from symmetric to not symmetric. That's a clipping thing going on there. So this one has a little bit. You can change the clipping. It will change the distortion a little bit. So I was very proud about this one. So I named it version 1.3. So yeah, that's kind of cool. I didn't really build these pedals to use them actually. I just built them because I would like to have something to build, and it could be a pedal. So I haven't. Well, of course, I've used the pedal, but not very much. So during the time when I have built these 2 pedals, kind of like was very interested in how pedals work. How to read the schematics and all that kind of stuff. I was interested in learning about components, and that's when it started to. I got the idea just a couple of years later, I'd say, since I built these ones. I got this idea about, how about building everything from scratch? Making my own PCBs and uh, doing everything by myself. So this crazy idea came about maybe 5 years ago or something like that. 4 or 5 years, well, 5 years ago, I'd say, that I would like to create my own brand, my kind of like boutique pedals. So I bought some gear to make my own PCBs, and this is actually, I came across a layout for a distortion that I liked very much, and I modified it to get something a little bit of my own. So this is actually the PCB of a prototype that I was creating back in 2012, actually. And this is the very first. I'm going to show you the very first PCB that I made to fit my distortion pedal that I designed all by myself. So this is actually the PCB right here. So this is actually a little bit modified. I named it the cat drive. You can see the cat drive right there. So I don't know if you can see this, but it's dated in February 2012. Right there. So I didn't want to use this one because I thought, it could be cool to have this one just to look. So I actually etched, I think I got 8 of these in this size right here of a sheet of copper laminate. So yeah, that was cool. So when I soldered together the PCB number 2, this is the number 1 right here, that was going to be a prototype. So that's when I built this pedal right here. This is actually the very first prototype of my own designed distortion pedal, and this is very much like a Marshall Governor pedal. The schematics is not exactly the same, but this pedal is based off that type of pedal. I did some tweaks in there, I did some modifications in there, so I have a lot of more gain in this pedal, and the response is very much more on the knobs here than on a Marshall Governor. So this is actually the very first prototype, and this one is built back in February 2012 actually. So it's a great sounding pedal, that's for sure. So after I built this pedal, and a couple of friends of mine borrowed it for a couple of months to, get some valuation of whether it's a good pedal or if it's durable, or if it's a good pedal or if it's just crap, or what they think about it and that kind of stuff. And the feedback was very good. They liked the pedal, and actually a couple of my friends wanted to buy this pedal from me, and I got some good offers as well, but I said no, I can't sell that one. This is actually my very first prototype, and I want to keep this one for myself. So this is a good pedal. It's a very good sounding pedal. It's not very heavy distortion, but it's kind of like there is a lot of distortion in this pedal, and it's kind of like a little bit of secret what it looks inside, and it doesn't really only containing this PCB, so there is a lot more going on here. So after have been using this pedal for 6 months or so, I was studying the inside of the pedal. I was doing my homework on reading schematics and learning more about the components and all that kind of stuff, and what can be done to this pedal to get a finished product. There was a lot of things that could be changed. I wanted to keep the characteristics of the of the sound, but I would like to have a pedal that is kind of like more easy to use than this one, because you don't want to go to the floor and flick the switch like this or anything like that. So I did my final layout for the first actually manufactured. I did a batch of 10 pedals, actually exactly identical. And of course, I wasn't able to keep the first serial manufactured pedal, because I sold it by accident. So this I'm going to show you now is actually number 3. So this is the number 3 out of 10 built. I built 10. So what I did was actually that I kept all the specifications from my prototype, and as I said, I built 10 of these pedals. I sold all these pedals, but not this one. So I'm going to show you. I really put some hard time and hard work into develop this pedal to what it is, and this is what it looks like right here. This is the pedal. I'm sorry about the light here. There we go. This is what the pedal looks like right here. This is what I call it, the black box cat drive distortion. So it's kind of like professional made, I must say. It's kind of like a boutique pedal. That's a number 3 right there. I numbered all of them, so, and I even did some things inside of the box, so it's easy to identify if I have built this one or not. So there is no way to fake any of these pedals. What I did was actually that I instead of having the little switch, I decided that I would like to have a mode switch. So this is actually for the clipping right here, to change the clipping. So by having that on a 3PDT switch, that is a lot more easy to change between the two clipping sections. So that's kind of cool. And this is the on and off right there. So this is true bypass as well. It's got the volume, bass, mid, treble, and gain right there. And this pedal doesn't really have a crazy amount of gain, but it's kind of like a distortion pedal. You could even use it in front of your amp, of course, just to boost up your amp's distortion. So you got the 9-volt DC right there, you got the input right there, you got the output right there, and yeah, this is what it looks like. It's a great pedal, I tell you. So I have been thinking about building some more of these pedals, because there have been some people asking for this pedal actually, but I haven't really gotten into that yet. So it's a I think I built these ones back in 2013, I think. 2013. So there is a lot of crazy amount of hours developing this pedal, that's for sure. And during the time working on this pedal, working on the components and schematics and all that kind of stuff, at the same time I even developed a fuzz pedal and a optical tremolo pedal as well. I don't have a tremolo. Well, yeah, I have the prototype. This is the prototype of my optical tremolo right here. The very first prototype. It's a great pedal. It's working great, and maybe in the future I will build some, some real pedals based off of the prototype, of course. So I actually built a batch of 10 of these fuzz pedals as well. Typical 70s crazy tones fuzz pedals. I sold all of them, but I kept one, and this is actually the first one that I built as the the serial number one out of 10. So this is what it looks like. It's kind of like nothing very fancy, just on-off switch. You have the very typical standard, that you can see on a fuzz pedal. I call it the Super Fuzz, made by the Black Box FX right there. Same here, you got the 9-volt DC right there. You got the input, you got the output. So this is also a great pedal, actually. So I actually, when this pedal was done and ready for shipping, so to speak, I sold a couple of these pedals to, I think I sold 2 to America. I think I sold 2 to, I think, England or Scotland or something like that. I sold a few to in the area of Germany and that kind of stuff. I thought I'd go ahead and this was back in 2012. I go ahead and make contact with a famous YouTube guy called Rob Chapman. If you have ever heard of Chapman guitars, this was back in 2012, so that's some years ago now. Well, I think almost it's kind of like 4 years now. So I made contact with him to ask if it would be possible, if it would be possible for him to make a, well, not maybe a demo video, but if I send him this pedal and he would get it for free, of course. I mean, I didn't want to charge him anything for he would get the pedal for free if I send it to him, and perhaps he could do kind of like a minute video or something, just talking about the pedal and just making a few riffs on the pedal, and that's it. I mean, and I was a little bit shocked about the email that he sent me. Well, I can understand that he is a businessman and he needs to make money as well. Of course, he liked the pedal very much. I linked him to a video playing the pedal. He said the pedal looks great and it sounds great, and of course, send it over. I can make a short little video for you. And he said, thank you very much for being able to keep the pedal. And he would like to charge me £1,000. I was like, excuse me, £1,000 just for making kind of like a minute video or 2 minutes video? That's crazy money right there. I said, I'm not really sure about whether I should do this or not, so I didn't do it, of course. I mean, £1,000, that's kind of like crazy money right there. So I was kind of like, no way I'm going to. I mean, after all, he would get the pedal for free and everything. And, I put a lot of hours into this pedal. And I'm not very cheap on this pedal either. So I'm not really, I think, I'm not really sure about the price, but it's a very expensive pedal. It's a boutique pedal right there. So I didn't do that. I just made up my mind and thinking, wow, he wants a crazy amount of money. And well, of course, if he's a businessman, as he obviously is, seems to be a nice guy anyway. But I didn't bother about sending him this pedal because I thought it was kind of like very, very much overpriced. So I had an idea actually about send him um, surprise him by sending three pedals. This fuzz pedal, the optical tremolo pedal, and this cat ride pedal. But after hearing about the £1,000 in starting fee, and then he would additional money depending on how many minutes the video would like to be. But the starting point was £1,000. I'm not really sure about how much that is in American dollars. Maybe 1,500 or maybe $2,000 or something like that. So I changed my mind about sending him three pedals. I changed my mind even by sending him one pedal. I was thinking, no, I think I skipped that. So anyway, he's a very successful businessman nowadays, making guitars. So I'm very happy for him. Anyway, last year I built a pedal, very simple one, just because I needed it myself. I went into a local music store to buy a B, and Y pedal. I saw the money they charged for the pedal, and I was thinking the schematics in my head and looking at the box. I don't remember the brand of the box, but I know what this pedal looks like inside. I don't want to pay like I don't want to pay like $100 $100 for this pedal when I can build one by my own with components that I have at home and maybe 30 minutes. So that's what I did. I went home and I built this pedal in about 30 minutes or so. Very, very simple. This is a very useful pedal for using two amplifiers at the same time. You can, there's a lot of possibilities with using this kind of pedal. So as of course I number all my pedals, so this is the number one right there, and this is the only one so far. I have no intentions manufacturing these pedals, but if someone asks me, of course I can build one. So this is a very useful pedal. You got the A-B switch right there, you got the Y switch right there, you got the input right there, output, output, or input, input, and out. So you can run it in both directions. So that's kind of cool. Anyway, I want to keep this video short. Just a little speech about my pedals. And if I get any questions about building a few of these pedals, if there's several people asking for this type of pedal, of course I can build some pedals. It will take me some time, but of course I will do it. I think I have all the material, so I can absolutely do that, and we can make out a price if you're interested in one of these pedals, that's for sure. This video is not about selling pedals. I don't really have the time for it now anyway, so but I mean, if you have a question about buying a pedal like this, we can talk about it, and we can see what I can do. So I think I gonna have to cut this video now and edit it and upload it on YouTube. So yeah, that's a little speech about my pedals. The successful businessman Rob Chapman, very nice guy by the way, and I'm thinking about buying in the future, checking out his guitars, because I hear people talking about he's making awesome guitars from the factory there in Korea, I think it is. So time will tell. Anyway, I gotta go now. Take care now. Bye bye then.